It's more just the excitement of the journey and the growth and the process for me. And that took me a long time to get to. It was always a lack of, I'm not at that point yet that I really dreamed of being at. And then that kind of held me back for a while. But then once I flipped it and was like, wait a second, I love where my life's at right now. And I love what I get to do every day. And I love to see where it's going to go. And then it's really back into the present moment of, this is my dream. Episode 3, dude. Episode 3, Syncopated Journeys.
I tell you, the applause has been pretty consistent.
Guys, it's just us. Relax.
That girl with the whoa!
Yeah, she's so consistent with her love for us. Dude, why did I do this at the beginning? Is that from Napoleon Dynamite? Why do I do that?
You've done that, I think, since I've known you. And that's where it originated from, was Napoleon Dynamite in the middle of his dance at the end.
What was it, like a butterfly? Because if people are just listening, they're like, what are you guys talking about? Is it?
It's like a cross-hand butterfly that flaps to you. It's almost as if a butterfly were fanning its wings at you.
It's kind of got jellyfish vibes too.
Ooh.
Doesn't it? If you do it right. Oh, wow. Yeah, there we go. Look at that. It's a flow. Yeah, that is dude, it's a fucking jellyfish. That's why I've been doing it. Speaking of jellyfish, let's talk about the origin of Mutual Groove and sitting at our apartment.
Okay.
In Nashville, Tall Trees Lane. You know what I'm talking about. Was that August 16th of 2015? No, when we started Mutual Groove.
August 16th of 2015. That was the band birthday.
Yep. And my buddy from college was there randomly, I remember. And I barely ever talked to him in school. His name was Will, but he hit me up. Do you remember that? He's kind of like a quiet dude, but he was super cool.
He was super cool.
Yeah.
Was he traveling across country or something?
Yeah.
Holy cow.
And we were like, hey, you can stay. We're in the middle of something. We're creating a new project. And he just kind of sat there and we talked about Mutual Groove. And I turned around and was saying, what kind of logo are you thinking? What about like an animal? What comes to mind? And you said?
Right off the bat, I said jellyfish. It just kind of channeled into my brain. It was the first thing I saw. And first intentions are pretty important. So listen to them. And that's what we did.
Yeah. And then we looked it up. And what was the definition? Or not the definition of jellyfish, but what was the meaning behind it? More of like the spiritual meaning.
Yeah. The more spiritual meaning that I found was that jellyfish, some species of jellyfish, have very little to no ability to move on their own. So they have to trust that the currents will bring them their nutrients. And so jellyfish typically represent faith and acceptance. And with the journeys that we have been through, that has been something that those two things are certainly something that we have had to maintain, or else I think things would have gone off the rails pretty more severely over the years.
Yeah. No, that was perfect for where we were at. And that was the whole vibe of the project, honestly, because we didn't necessarily have a plan where with our first band, we had kind of a North Star of like, we want to be the biggest rock band in the world, like straight up, just balls to the wall, every ounce of our being, no friendships, no nothing else. We're band, music, spirituality, diving deep inside of us. And then Mutual Groove came about and we kind of just wanted to play music and get in touch with our playfulness again and what started our love for music. The jellyfish made sense.
Yeah, it was going from a project that was so incredibly serious, in a way too serious on some fronts, to where it stripped the enjoyment out of the actual creation of the music. And there are some hard days there for sure, but to flip the coin, we created our own project, Mutual Groove, and our North Star was now the enjoyment of creating and playing music and connecting with all sorts of people from all sorts of genres, basically trying to kick down any wall that was around us so that we could let our creativity freely flow.
Yeah, it really felt like Rampage, that game, because we had built up so many walls throughout our first project of, well, this is what it means to be an incredible musician. This is what good music is, all that. And then we just rampaged all those walls, dude. Just slammed them down.
I was not expecting you to talk about Rampage in this little blip.
Remember that, dude?
Yeah, it was a great game. I liked being the big dinosaur one, the big lizard, like the Godzilla one, because you could eat people.
Was there any point to the game besides rampaging?
You just had to destroy the cities without dying. Because remember, sometimes there'd be like little dudes that would come out the window with little guns and they'd be like, hey! You had to crawl up and break all the windows. Hey! And you could sometimes grab them out of the window and...
You're right. Wow. What was that? Was that Super Nintendo?
That was Nintendo 64. It started on Super Nintendo. I think it started on Super Nintendo, and then it upgraded to 64. Because remember, like when Nintendo 64 came out, everything was 64. You had Mario 64. You had Road Rash 64.
Road Rash. Oh my gosh, I played Road Rash, and if my brother's listening, he'll know exactly what I'm talking about, because we sat in our little living room where our computer was at and played Road Rash back and forth. We would just kind of switch off, and you'd have like the chain. You get the chain, and you can knock other people off the bikes, and then I don't remember the name of the bike that was sought after, like the Holy Grail, but yeah, I just remember getting such a dopamine hit from that. Like, oh my God, we got the Ducati or whatever it was.
Yep. I think it was Road Rash 2 or 3 on Sega, and I still remember the cheat code to get the Ultra bike or whatever it was.
Right? Isn't that weird how that works?
15S9P032.
Let's go!
Come on!
Dude!
So for anybody still playing Sega, you got the fastest bike. Listen to Syncopated Journeys for all your updated Sega cheats.
Do you remember cheatcc.com?
Same wavelength, brother.
Oh,
exactly where my mind
had all the cheat codes. I remember printing them off, and we didn't have a colored printer, so it was all black and white. But I would, because like, come on, mom and dad, like, let's just splurge a little bit, okay? but I would print those off, and I had a binder of cheat CC codes that me and my brother collected.
Yeah.
And yeah, especially Grand Theft Auto, because I was a Grand Theft Auto 3 fanatic.
And there were a ton of cheats that you could unlock in that game.
Oh, dude, yeah. I'm such a lame gamer. Like, there's all these incredible storylines of these games, especially nowadays. But even back then, there's all these missions you can go on. But it was just turn it on, cheat code, unlimited health, cheat code, unlimited weapons, cheat code, grenade
unlimited launch, ammo, all that stuff. Yeah.
And then I would just rampage.
Combining the two games.
So our ADHD brains just took us all the way over here to the gaming industry. But originally, Mutual Groove was about breaking down the walls that we had set up over the prior, 7 years?
Yeah, 7.5, somewhere in there, yeah.
7.5 years of kind of building walls around our music career and what we thought music was and what it was to us and what success meant and all that. And then Mutual Groove was a fresh start, rampage the walls down. And I think community was at the forefront of it as well, because we had lost a lot of our connections that really helped the first band grow. I think our personalities and the community we created was what made our show successful. And then we kind of isolated ourselves to try to become the next level of success instead of just harnessing those friendships and that community and kind of rising together at a more reasonable pace instead of trying to, jump levels. So we kind of got back to our roots there.
Yeah, it did start with the very much so surrounded by friends, and it was almost always open where we could have people come and sit in on rehearsals and things like that. But then things got so deep and so serious that it was there was a sacredness about it, which, I still appreciate and respect that energy that surrounds the musical creation process. I still do think some of that needs to be maintained. But on the other side of that, I also think that nothing should ever get to the point where you're cut off from close friends you used to have, or even family members, or even when you're talking to family, you only talked about the band. It was a very one-dimensional way of living, in a way, because everything was centered around that band. Everything.
Mm-hmm.
And even though it was a good thing for us in a lot of respects, too much of even a good thing can turn into a bad thing. And that's ultimately what it did for both of our mental health. And I mean, it was exhausting.
I 100% agree. It was kind of borderlining just obsessive. It was taking up all of our mental, emotional, physical energy, everything. And with Mutual Groove, it was awesome to start bringing in totally different genres of people, totally different groups of friends, old connections, all sorts of different things to just jam together and organically create music again.
Yes. It challenged us big time to open our minds more and open our playing to genres that we really didn't have much experience in. When we first started writing with Lockwood Bar, that was a genre that we had never really touched on. Now, Lockwood is a unbelievable vocalist, songwriter, killer banjo player, and we started writing a song with her, and 3 hours later, the song was done. It basically wrote itself. It was one of those little moments where everything just seemed to click and roll so uninhibitedly. And it wasn't necessarily a country song, but it was certainly more in like that Americana songwriter feel. It had a little bit more of that country feel to it. So it was nice for us to branch out and see if we enjoyed some new flavors of music that we had never played before. And that's only one case, because we had collaborated with so many people.
Man, that is cool. It was very fun to bring just who we were in all of our experience into these different genres that we had no experience in, because it really was just a mutual groove, quote unquote. Like, we'll just play a groove and you kind of write whatever you would write naturally on top of that. There's no really genre specific stuff. We would just groove.
Yeah, exactly. That's, you and I would lay down a groove, and I remember Lockwood started playing some chords that fit with it, and then she came up with that vocal melody. And Lockwood's so fun to write with, because she'll just start humming something, and then all of a sudden these words come out.
I don't know.
And it sounds like she had written them like 10 years ago and refined them, and she's like, no, it's just what's coming out right now.
It's like, all right, well, let's record it, because it sounds awesome.
Yeah.
And I think, correct me if I'm wrong, we had a lunch or something before that where we talked with her, and we resonated a lot on where our like life paths had taken us. And she had been in a similar situation with someone in her life, or a situation in her life where she kind of felt she had built up a lot of walls. She was kind of uncomfortable, all those sorts of things. So we kind of resonated on that, and then went to create after that. And that's where the song just blossomed out of thin air, it felt like.
Yeah. And she came up with some pretty powerful lyrics. The chorus lyrics of this song were, "And I'm dying every time I try to feel alive again."
Yeah.
That's tough. We were scraping for some good light in our lives at times. And every time we felt like we would get ahead a little bit, something would drag us back. And whether it was our own anxiety or whether it was something that was actually happening and causing this anxiety, there was some kind of wild, spindly moments there between the up and down. And
that's what the song was called, right? Light Stories?
Light Stories, yeah.
Wow. Man, it makes me want to get back on the drums back here and write some music. That is one hard thing about not being in the same area. We're not able to kind of just have those natural moments of jamming, but, give it 1 year or so with all this AI technology and super fast internet and everything, we'll probably be able to real-time jam on the podcast.
I would lose my mind, dude. I am dying for a jam.
We'll be
Dying
able to
for
do
a
it because even when I first moved to Atlanta and Mutual Groove was still performing, the three of you, Ryan, Sam, and you were back in Nashville. I hooked up in here and you guys couldn't hear me since there's a little bit of a delay, but I was able to sit back here with headphones on Zoom and jam along with you guys. And every once in a while, the internet would kind of jumble in and out, and then I'd have to kind of start and stop again, or stop and start again. But it kind of worked, dude. I was very impressed. I felt like I was jamming with you guys.
It was so funny because we would look over, and because of the video delay, David is way off.
This dude sucks. He moved to Atlanta, forgot how to play the drums.
Well, because like the hi-hat would be going like, but if it was supposed to be, you'd be like, it was just totally off. Like, what is he doing over there?
That half a second delay, that's hilarious.
It was good though, because obviously we would have loved to have had you there in person and things like that. But it was another challenge that we had to conquer. And it forced Ryan, Sam, and me to really try to be pocketed without you as a drummer just sitting right there and being the clock.
Yeah, and that ended up being so hilarious because we ended up getting Manny the Mannequin involved. And Manny the Mannequin, that was originally just for merchandise, right? Oh, no. That was originally because of Mutual Groove had a thing called Feature 45s where we would find an artist and we would create 2 songs with them. We would write them together. We'd have an A side and a B side, and we'd put those songs out. But the idea was we'd have so many of these different artists. When we played a show, we weren't going to be able to have all of them come and perform with us. Or if we're on the road, they wouldn't be able to come with us. So we had the brilliant idea of getting a mannequin, putting
a headless
mannequin, and putting a computer monitor vertical on top of the mannequin, sending a live video stream from my SPDSX pad that would trigger the songs. This would trigger a video that we would have pre-recorded of said singer, Lockwood, Kip Wilde, whoever, singing that song. So we'd have a digital version of that Feature 45 artist on stage with us. And Ryan Swinehart somehow was able to make the technology and stuff work. And we did it once with Kip Wilde. And we triggered that. And all of a sudden, Kip, maybe we'll be able to throw up a video right now, but Kip just shows up on the screen and starts singing along.
This is just the start of it all, running towards a call.
So going back to the long distance jam sessions, I don't know whose idea it was, one of your guys, but they put the top half of the mannequin on my drum throne at Sam's house where they were rehearsing and had the monitor on top, and then they would live stream me, and then I set up my camera to where it was zoomed in just on my head so that I was jamming with y'all, and you would look over and see a mannequin, and you guys put the drumsticks in the mannequin's hand even. Yeah. And you would see my face live jamming with you guys.
I could be in Bermuda practicing with y'all, dude. That's what I'm going to start doing.
We just have to figure out how to make it vertical.
Digital Dave!
I guess.
Digital Dave!
What?
It was so weird because you'd see like your head and the groove and stuff, but like the mannequin's arms were still like this. It's like the head bob and the arms are just like this holding drumsticks.
I think that's the coolest thing about Mutual Groove is, you know, we had some incredible shows, some big shows, some tiny shows, but honestly, we, more than anything, we entertain ourselves. Like, we do so many things that no one ended up seeing, but the 4 of us, that will continually be like the funniest moments of my life. For example, that was so cool, but no one saw any of that. We're just sitting there doing mannequin on the drums. David in Atlanta, what are we doing?
No, but I feel like when you have so much fun doing what you genuinely enjoy doing, that fun is going to be contagious.
Mm-hmm.
People are going to tune into your vibe. If it's pure and genuine, you really enjoy it, you have fun doing it with the people that you're doing it with, other people are going to feel it.
Yeah.
Because think back to all of our Mutual Groove shows. No one knew any sort of songs that we had. No one knew. I mean, we were brand new, but we would play these shows and incorporate the crowd, and then you and me would be laughing and cracking jokes, and like I'd be dancing and doing weird stuff as I was playing, and everyone felt the vibe that we were giving off, and so therefore they hit that ping pong ball of energy right back at us. And then the exchange happened.
Absolutely. Man, you are so right. And I thought of two things when you said that. I thought of one was the original idea of the Join a Jam, because we started that off pretty early, I feel like.
That had to be one of the first shows that we ever did.
And that was incorporating what we would already naturally do, like what we were saying earlier, when we would jam and rehearse back in the day. Some people would come over and be chilling in the basement, and we'd be done with our songs, like rehearsing our pre-made songs, and then we just wanted to jam and say, hey, I know you're not a musician, but here's a tambourine. Just fuck with it. Here's a shaker. Just mess around with it. And just, here's a drumstick. Come hit the, some cymbals with me or whatever. And that's where the idea Join a Jam came from. Why not bring percussion instruments to a show, throw them out into the crowd, and get whoever, the rowdiest person is, come up on stage and just jam with us. And we would do a freestyle jam, and they would come up, and I'm thinking of the Basement East right now. I just remember feeling such a good energy and being at the drum set in the back and the middle and looking to my left, center, right, seeing so many people having such a blast on stage with us was such a good moment for me. I was like, this is what Mutual Groove is. This is so sick. Like, we just created a community of music right now, and everything is spur of the moment, and I love this.
I remember what you're talking about, and the smiles that would be so prevalent. We were having so much fun, and the people that would come up on stage with us, especially people that we had jammed with before, they'd hop up. We already have a little bit of an established relationship and some chemistry, and so those jams would get really fun. And at one point, didn't we start to almost come up with a second version of Join a Jam? We called it Give 'em Rhythm. We never did it at a show, but I think we had the brainstorm idea.
We did.
Of having it almost be more of a percussion circle, where it would be strictly rhythm and no melody. So everybody finds that same groove, and you just fill in those subdivisions.
Give 'em Rhythm. I like that. Man, That could have been the podcast name right there.
Shit, Becky.
Shit, Becky. Oh, dude, that's awesome. That's a fun little memory lane to go down. And I guess to kind of take it back a little bit, Mutual Groove, like we were saying earlier, started out as just being Pat. And then over time, we ended up, you heard us just talking about Ryan Swinehart and Sam Woods. Ryan, incredible saxophone player, audio engineer, jack of all trades. If there's a problem, he'll solve it. Check out the hook while my DJ revolves. It's so stupid. And then Sam Woods, unbelievable guitar player, freaking unbelievable rhythm guitar player, lead guitar player. He can pretty much play any genre, and he can also sing his ass off too. And I'm glad he's starting to sing more with his own stuff and his other projects he's got going on. But we had been playing with them. Well, actually, no. Sam first came on to Mutual Groove just to jam with us on No Place for the Sad.
I think that was the first one that he played, because he could rip. And I remember the ending of that song required someone that can rip and just let go.
Yeah, and we had seen him play, and he ended up being from Virginia, which is where we're from.
Only like 35 minutes from us.
Yeah, so we had that instant connection, and it's really funny because Pat knew the bass player of this other band, and it got us this show at a place called The End, R.I.P., because that's gone now, isn't it?
I think it's still there.
Oh, for some reason I thought it was gone. Okay.
A lot of that area, I'm sure, has changed. The Rock Block area in Nashville. Yeah. But I think it's still there. At least when I left, it was still there.
That place was a vibe.
Minus the shit smell.
Yeah, it smelled a little rough in there, and the bathrooms were a little rough in there, and Bruce, the owner, was a little hard of hearing, so it was hard to order a drink. But other than that, it was a cool grungy style room. And we got offered this show. What I'm leading to is how we met Sam. And it's a very funny first meeting because his first impression of us was like, who are these douche canoes on stage? Because like Pat said earlier, we were going wild, jamming, bringing people up on stage. Pat's dancing. I'm yelling into the mic saying God knows what. And we got into one of our heaviest jams and we were the opener. So, everyone's stuff was set up on stage and then it was just the two of us. So we got set up in front of all their equipment and... And we start jamming, and Pat's going so hard, dude. And he's stomping around stage like Rampage, dude. Dude, third reference, Rampage. And he goes backwards and falls into Sam's amp, trips over it, falls. We have a video of it that we'll show right now. Falls off screen, like into the darkness, and all of a sudden, less than a half a second later, flies back on stage like nothing happened and finished the song. And meanwhile, Sam's in the back like, who the f*** are these dudes? If he just broke my amp.
It was his pedal board. My heel clipped his pedal board, and when I was like, ugh, just in my zone, I remember my heel kind of clipped his pedal board, which made me lose balance. And I stumble back. I remember hitting like a drum cymbal or something. And I don't think I landed on anything, but I more so landed about some things.
Oh my gosh.
I popped right back up somehow. And I don't even remember still playing. As I fell and as I was on my back for that second.
You didn't miss a note, dude.
I don't know how it happened because when we show the video, you can see I popped right back up and it was like, and Al D hopped on stage to try to help me up.
Yeah, you'll see Al D come and he like grabs something like he was going to save Pat from his fall, but then he notices Pat is some superhero that just jumped out of the abyss of the stage. And me, I didn't even think about stopping. I was just like, no, we're jamming.
Even if I just had to lay on my back in that rubble for a little bit, I would have finished the jam. And of course, as I got back up, it was like, oh shit, I just ate it. Go harder! Ah!
So yeah, that was Sam's first impression of us, but somehow we became friends after that and we hung out like once or twice. I don't know if we jammed or whatever. And then we realized we had the same sense of humor. We loved jamming together. Like it was just an instant connection and we've been best friends with him ever since. And he ended up joining Mutual Groove for a period. And we also toured in Stealing Oceans together. Stealing Oceans is where we met Ryan Swinehart. And then he ended up joining Mutual Groove. So, it's been a journey. So going back to that 2016 is what it was. And we had all the walls Rampage Jackson down.
No, so 2015 was when Mutual Groove started. But then 2016, I think, was when I started playing with Stealing Oceans. And then it was a couple months later, you joined Stealing Oceans.
Gotcha. So with that initial talk of the jellyfish and not having walls up, it really did and still does take us on a journey that we really don't know what's next, but we kind of just like putting inspiration, whatever's hitting us at the moment, into it and kind of letting it evolve to whatever. It's gone through many different stages of Mutual Groove.
I think the letting it evolve to whatever is the main part of that faith and acceptance. Sometimes you don't have control. And that's okay because something else is in control. And if you have that faith and acceptance and really trust that what's coming your way is what you need, it's going to work out. And that's what we've experienced. Now, it's not easy. There are times where it's going this way and you want to be like, no, I want to go this way. But you can't. And so you just have to stay patient. And again, trust everything's going to work out. Just let this little speed bump play out. and we'll see what's over that little hump.
And it's been cool. We've had so many experiences. Like another great thing about Sam is his ability to remember the most minute details of every tour story we've had in the past.
So wild.
It's like every time we get together, it's the most detailed trip down memory lane in the best way possible, to where it feels like we're experiencing it in real time, and we can have those giggles all over again.
Oh my gosh. Well, and it's funny too, because everybody has their own memories, and everybody will sprinkle in their little part of the story so that now you have this whole picture and we're all laughing at each other's perspectives.
Yep.
The other night, we got to hang out on Zoom with Sam and Ryan, and maybe 15 minutes in, I am struggling for air because I am weeping. I am crying, laughing so hard at the stuff that we were doing.
It's just so ridiculous, dude.
I couldn't handle myself, dude. It was just like, I looked like something was wrong because I was like actually crying, but I just could not contain my laughter, dude. Now beluga whale it.
Well, so, okay, I guess if you're going to say beluga
Segue.
whale it, we got to talk about what that means. Beluga whale it, guys. Pat?
So, on this Zoom hang, we are desperately needing a Zoom hang with the four of us. We're all physically separated right now. Ryan and Sam are still in the same vicinity, but there's been a lot that has happened since the last time that the four of us had hung out and gotten to just shoot the shit. And so we really needed one of these hangs. And after we did the catching up of the important stuff, checking in with everybody, David decides to start messing with AI and goes to the Dolly app.
Which is a part of ChatGPT. It's like one of the GPTs within that utilizes ChatGPT 4. And I pay for the subscription because I love ChatGPT and I love AI and technology. So I've been trying to take advantage of it and learn the tool as much as I can. So yeah, I pulled it up.
So we're going around the little Zoom hang, and everybody's putting in a little tidbit as to what image should we try to have this thing generate. And so Sam goes, Reggie in a wedding dress.
Wait, no, you got to take it back. You got to take it back, dude. That was later on.
Take it back. Take it way back.
It started with the bacon fringed boots.
Oh, yes.
Or I think it was he just said bacon boots. And then
Bacon
I was like,
boots.
and I was like, just be a little more specific or whatever. And he said bacon fringed or boots with bacon as the fringes on the boots or something like that. Mm-hmm. And it came up, and we were blown away by how accurate it was and how detailed and beautiful it looked. We're like, these are going to be on sale in whatever that Two Boots Nashville store is. These are going to be on sale next week, dude. And we'll put a picture up if you're watching this.
Yeah.
And then we started expanding on that. And then Ryan or someone said spaghetti as the shoelaces. And
Clever.
Then Pat.
That was Ryan.
And then you had the syrup shooters on the heel or whatever.
I wanted them to come out of the toe because I thought it would be cool that if you kicked the boot, it would shoot hot syrup at a distance of 30 feet.
Oh, yeah. You were super specific.
I wanted to test it. What it did was it gave this blueprint almost. It was a colorful blueprint of how these boots worked. And they had the spaghetti laces, and the syrup shooter was on the back, almost like a spur would be, but it was vertical, like parallel with the back of the heel going up. And I don't know how you shot this syrup, but
yeah, you just get on the back of your neck, dude, or on the back of your head, dude. That would be awful. Just shooting hot syrup and hitting your ass, dude. Like, what is this?
it's terrible.
But hey, we were still blown. It was like kind of like cyberpunky syrup shooters.
Yeah,
had that vibe. And I think Sam had added fur boots too, so they were like furry. They had bacon fringe, spaghetti, and it was accurate.
Bacon fringe.
What were we doing? So then we did a couple more. Well, actually, the one that will get us to the beluga whale story started out just as Laser Star Princess or something like that.
It was Laser Princess.
Goddess. Laser Princess. Laser Goddess.
It was Laser Princess, and then we added wind or something.
We added the hot air balloon
Yes.
And then
the
laser
elegantly
in her
drinking
left hand,
wine.
Elegantly drinking wine in her right hand, and the laser sword or whatever in her left hand. And it created an awesome image of this laser princess drinking wine.
We were all like, wait, what?
Like, this is so accurate. It looks so dope.
It was wild.
And then...
And then it came back around to me. And I said, all right, now beluga whale it.
Like, what? First of all, I'm like, wait a second. I got to make sure I'm spelling beluga right, because I forgot how to spell beluga, dude. And we typed in, that's all we typed in. Now beluga whale it. And let me tell you, this shit beluga whaled the fuck out of that laser goddess, dude. The hot air balloon became a beluga whale.
And I am like struggling to breathe once I see this image, dude. I could not handle it.
And then the wine glass is still there, but it's just floating in the air. It's just like, I don't know what to do with this. Just put it in there.
Wine glass.
Oh, man. We could not believe how dope this beluga whale it picture looked.
Oh, my
And
gosh. It
that
gave us
just-
2 virgins.
Just sent us on a spiral.
And so we went into this whole thing of trying to beluga whale things. Eventually, we started a new prompt, and it got back to Sam. That's when Sam said, Reggie in a wedding dress. And
No.
Really?
We did the mustache, because we were wondering if it could find people using Google. And so I was like, Pat Graves, aka Flip a Day, slam dunking a basketball, like whatever. And it kind of created somebody, and it was kind of like, whatever, this is weird. And then we wrote just mustache guy dunking a basketball. And then that was kind of cool. And then we brought it into another AI software called Runway, and you can choose which parts of the image it'll animate and turn like into motion. So it turns into like a 5-second video clip based off of an image. So we put that mustache guy in there, and on the basketball court in the background, there was this other random dude. So I was like, let's animate him as well. And we just ended up naming him Reggie. We're like, oh, let's animate Reggie back here. And then I pressed generate. It generated something. The dunking thing looked weird as hell. Like the guy like melted. But then randomly Reggie, they put a wedding dress on Reggie out of nowhere.
In the background.
So then we started a new prompt, and it was Reggie in a wedding dress. And when I tell you it put up Reggie in a wedding dress, it did, but it was not what we expected. It put up a dog in a wedding dress.
It looked like a little beagle.
It was like a beagle in a wedding dress, dude. It's like, there's Reggie, I guess. According to AI, this is Reggie.
I love how it came up with a dog for the name Reggie.
And then I think we turned Reggie into a DJ, and then for some reason it turned Reggie into a cat. And then the cat DJ looked super dope, and then we turned it into a watercolor painting, and that was super dope. And then we said, now beluga whale it. And then, Reggie's now a beluga whale making things happen. And then we turned it into like a concert poster, and then we turned it into an actual music festival where beluga whales were performing, but then in attendance was little carrots with faces on them.
Those showed up during the cat performance.
Oh, those showed up during the cat performance.
Yeah, that was Ryan's edition. He said, now make the audience carrots with each individual faces.
Now, this sounds ridiculous, but when I tell you the accuracy of this AI generation, we were blown away.
Couldn't believe it.
If you're watching this, you'll see on screen how ridiculous this is, but it just blew our minds. So
pretty wild.
We took that pretty far. So if you haven't tried out ChatGPT or whatever, I know a lot of people are, scared of it and stuff, and I get it. It's really wild how fast it's happening. So do what you need to do, but I'm trying to learn it and take advantage of it and have some fun with it too.
Yeah, well, and you're so great at doing things like that, especially with the technology stuff, because when new technology stuff comes out, you get excited and dive into the challenge of learning this new stuff. Me, I'm like, damn it, like more technology I have to mess with.
Dude, what are you, a baby boomer, dude?
I'm excited about it, but as we talked about last episode, it can be a very frustrating thing for me to deal with, because just like today, before this was recording, we did not change a single thing, and technological difficulties.
Yeah, no, I feel you. And I get it too. I get it. I sympathize with people who aren't like into technology because it is a lot of stuff. But I am thankful that I got into it. I don't even know, because my brother used to be more into it than I did. He was into building PCs and all that stuff. And I just really enjoy it now. My new big thing is live streaming and doing stuff like this. Like, how can we create an online show? I think that's just so cool that we're able to do this and create a podcast, a video podcast, distribute it all over the world.
Yeah.
Maybe someone in Yugoslavia is listening right now.
Who knows?
Maybe Reggie in a wedding dress is out there.
Out there somewhere.
Someone's playing Rampage listening to us.
I wonder if anybody in the world is playing Rampage.
Right now? I probably, dude.
3 people.
There could be 3. It'd be cool if we had a real life metric of that, like a real time, like on Spotify, how you can see how many people are listening to your music at once.
Yeah, that would be cool.
That would be cool.
But there's no online for Nintendo 64, so
how would we know?
I guess we never will.
Speaking of music and Spotify, did you listen to the new 21 Pilots?
I have not listened to it yet.
Oh, dude, come on. What are you doing, dude?
I know. I was going to talk to you about it. I really do want to check it out because Overcompensate is so damn good. I did see a little clip of the music video, so this sounded more of like one of their pop rocky songs.
Yes,
Am I
it's
right?
way more like punk rock, kind of like it's totally different vibe. A lot of people are saying it's kind of more like 2000s, like My Chemical Romance vibes almost. Like I could see a bunch of different things. It definitely didn't hit me as hard as Overcompensate did, and it's totally different. It's the second song on the album, so it's really interesting that Overcompensate plays and then it'll go into this. But I love the lyrics.
Interesting. Okay.
The more I listen to it, the more I'm like, this is dope. You know, it's like one of those songs because I'm just not really into the punk rock. It just hasn't been my style. But it's very cool. The production's incredible. Paul Meany crushes it on production. The music video is so dope. I follow Real Bear Media, who has done all their video content. They came up together. And they're doing a video for every single song on the album. And they were finishing this video up the night before it was released. So it's like happening in real time. And they sent it out to like Color and VFX the day before it was released, and they uploaded it at 4 a.m. and then it got released at like 10 a.m.
Whoa.
So it's cool, even that
crazy.
big of a band and stuff. It's like they're that big of a band, but it's almost like they still have their little team that's grinding it out and being creative on the inside. So it's like it has independent band vibes and stuff too.
I was going to say it feels very grassroots in that way.
Yeah. In the music videos, super dope. It just looks so cool. Yeah, it reminds me of a venue like The End. It's like a grungy venue, and they got probably 50 to 100 of their biggest fans to be in there like jamming. So it's really vibey.
From the little glimpse that I did get, it did give me Smells Like Teen Spirit vibes. The video.
Yeah. And it's like very grainy and stuff. It's really cool. And then there's like a surprise at the end where he goes into his ukulele and stuff. So it's very creative. It's definitely like Overcompensate blew my mind just with the drumming, the production, the melody. I mean, every part of
everything in that one
was super dope.
The halftime break halfway through the song.
Yeah, and the video was dope as well, and it kind of gave us the story and everything. But anyways, I am very excited. They announced their world tour, and I was pissed because it didn't say Atlanta on there. So I'm like, oh, damn. But
no San Diego either.
But dude, they are coming to Atlanta. It's just they're coming to Duluth, which is, 45 minutes north of Atlanta, like right near where I'm at. But it's just so weird that they put Duluth on there because I just skipped over Duluth. I didn't even I was looking for Atlanta. So, and it's at this place called Gas South Arena. It's where I saw Adam Sandler last year.
Okay.
So on the thing, it's like New York, everything Duluth. Why wouldn't you just put Atlanta?
Yeah, interesting. Because all I know of Duluth is that where Duluth Trading Company is from?
I don't know, probably.
It's the only time I've heard of that. We got 21 pilots and undies. Let's go. Go to Duluth.
Oh, man. Speaking of that, too. Well, I guess not speaking of that. I'm kind of thinking of one of the last shows I've been to in Atlanta. But I guess it was 2 years ago now. Damn. Kendrick Lamar.
I thought that's
Oh
what you
my
were going to bring up.
Goodness, State Farm Arena. Oh my goodness. Did you said you listened to Like That, his newest industry shatterer?
Yeah, man. I feel like I'll always side with Kendrick.
Me too. I still think, I mean, obviously, on artistry level, he destroys Drake, in my opinion.
I am so happy that we're talking about this because this is important.
This is important. I get it. Drake has the best brand, I'd say, the biggest brand, the most like worldwide. Like he's very good business wise, but his artistry and the proof of him using ghostwriters so much, and I get it. Some of his shit's dope. Don't get me wrong. I'll hear some of the stuff. I love his producer, but as far as lyricism and rapping and all of that, like I just don't even understand how people can say he even is in the same category as Kendrick.
See, I felt the same way because the content matter is, from what I've heard from Drake, it's all very similar. It's not saying anything. It's really not moving the needle in terms of having a cultural impact. Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers, that was such a powerfully done album that it was, in a way, hard to listen to because the subject matter was so raw and real and relatable for a lot of people. So hearing that album, the production was amazing. The flow of it's amazing. Kendrick and his multi-voices. He creates so many different characters in his deliveries, and it's something totally different than Drake has ever done. Someone put it the other day, Drake is a rapper. Kendrick is for the culture, was what this person said. They said J. Cole was also for the culture. And I love J. Cole. There was that freestyle that he did on Sway in the Morning, which is one of the best freestyles I've ever heard. That flow. Unbelievable.
It ain't enough vitamin C in they system to get rid of me. I'm a killer, relentless on top, but I sound like I'm still in the trenches. I come from the Ville, I turn villains to victims.
I don't really like how Kendrick and J. Cole might be going at it because I'm a fan of both. But
I know.
In the same way, though, I still put Kendrick over J. Cole, and we'll probably get some hate for that. But
yeah, no, I do too, 100%. I mean, I love J. Cole too. Absolutely.
I do too.
Like Forest
Absolutely
Hills
love
Drive. I remember when I first heard Forest Hills Drive, and just like it just blew my mind. His storytelling,
Fire
it just
Squad
was incredible. Yeah, incredible. But I don't know. Whenever I hear Kendrick, it just feels different to me. It just feels like I'm experiencing the Michael Jackson of hip hop. There's like something that's like otherworldly with what he's channeling.
yeah,
And then, the musical aspect of it as well, the production and stuff. It's like he's pushing boundaries and
exactly. He's doing things that have never really been done before and never really been said before, or at least never really been delivered the way he does.
yeah, and I think a lot of the argument too is, where was he for so long? But
He's not just dropping shit.
because Drake is dropping an album all the time, but it's usually just about, the club and stuff. And I know there's more stuff. I feel like people would be like, wow.
I don't want to overgeneralize.
And I'm not a huge Drake fan, so I really can't say that. So honestly, I'll take that back. From what I've heard, it just doesn't hit me as hard. That's all I'll say. I love when artists take their time, live their life, or go internal for a bit. Kendrick went off the map, kind of isolated himself, Silent Hill, like that song, he talks about it a little bit, but just diving internally into himself and then coming back and sharing that experience with us through music. I just think that's what the artist journey is all about. Like, I don't care if you put out 10 albums a year. That doesn't make you a better artist, in my opinion.
I'm with you 100% there. Kendrick seems to go into a cocoon in between every album, and he comes out and he's a transformed artist. He has a transformed perspective, and he has something that he wants to talk about, that he feels he needs to talk about because it's relevant. And what he talks about really, as I said with Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers, it makes you feel something. And I'm with you too. Like, I haven't really given Drake a ton of chances or a deep dive look, but I haven't heard anything yet from Drake that has made me feel anything or has made me go, that line said something, or that was really clever. He's got some lines, I'm sure. But to me, it's just putting out music to keep the sales and the numbers going and the relevancy going, and maybe even come up with a new dance or a new meme. To me, music this is going back to, first band. Kendrick lives in that same spiritual respect when it comes to creating music and why he creates music and where it comes from. Again, Drake, successful as hell, unbelievable with his success. I respect the shit out of that because that just doesn't come easy.
Yeah, no,
you have to work. I don't hear him really saying anything.
Yeah. And if you disagree, like, let us know what to check out. Because, I mean, I would love to, maybe we can do that even on the podcast. Let us know what song or an album to kind of go through.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if he has any, like, conceptual albums or anything, like something that you would want to listen to all the way through from start to finish, or certain songs or freestyles or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah, we do have our opinions about music that we love, music that we don't necessarily like, but we are never totally closed-minded. Nope, we'll never check that out. So give us your honest opinions on Drake, best songs, best albums, maybe things that can crack our mind to him a little bit, because I'm not trying to not like more artists.
Yeah, I want more dope music.
Yeah, more dope music, more inspiration. I'm all about it. So that'll be a challenge for anyone listening, is if you're a Drake fan, try to turn us into some. I bet you can't.
Oh man, that's awesome. It'll be really interesting to see what happens from this, like if what J. Cole does and stuff. And I always saw like J. Cole's riding his bike to the studio right now, because it's like he doesn't use a car and stuff. He's like very just like kind of sold all his possessions kind of vibe that he's been rocking with. So it's just, I saw those comments. Oh yeah, he seems great.
He's one of those people too that have, I guess Drake has some of this too, but not nearly as much as J. Cole does. J. Cole played professionally overseas basketball.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Season, remember that?
Mm-hmm.
And we've talked a little bit about this. I know we've talked about this, just you and me. I can't remember if we've done it on the show yet, but there's a rare breed of musician cross athlete.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the mentality that you have to bring to music or getting really good at a sport is very similar.
Mm-hmm.
It's very tough to suck when you want to be great, but you got to start and you got to get through those periods of time where you're just not good at your instrument or not good at the sport you love.
Yeah.
And clearly with J. Cole, he's put a lot of work into both his music, obviously, and his basketball playing. So I just thought that was really cool.
Yeah. How do you feel about, I always wonder this with success, and I still am challenged by this every day. I'll see videos of J. Cole. I love watching studio videos or creating song videos.
So cool.
And there's the one, it's like 4 a.m. and he's just grinding it out, making the beat for one of his songs. I can't remember it, but we'll probably link a video right here. It's just that mentality of, and I'll see someone like the music video director that I love, Cole Bennett, who does all the Lyrical Lemonade stuff, and just his work ethic and some of these people's work ethic. I struggle with the balance of like, how much do you sacrifice for that success, or how hard do you really have to go to get to a certain level? Because you see some of these stories of people being so intense, like working at 4 a.m. or, having sleepless nights and stuff like that. But then you also see people who are more balanced and they're still at a high level of success. But how do you think about that? You're like, I could be playing drums for 7 hours tonight and play till 3 a.m. because someone else out there is playing till 4 a.m. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. I think it comes down to two things. I think one of them, and the most important reason, is the why. Yeah. Why are you doing that? Are you trying to be successful like someone else, or are you trying to chase and create your own form of success? I think there's definitely a difference. It's good to emulate people who have already found success, but you have your own fingerprint. You got to carve your own path too. You can follow maybe parallel to someone, but you're never going to be on the same path. I think that's one of them is your why. And then the other thing is happiness and balance. Working on playing music, as we've both experienced, there have been days where we have practiced for 14 plus hours. Why was I doing that? Because I wanted to be great. Do I do that now? No, because it would make my life out of balance. I would be disconnected from the people here in my life and it wouldn't be fulfilling if it was too one-sided. You think about like a triple beam balance, it would be askew for sure. And as I learned with Flip a Day toward the end, I was spending so much time on trick shots. We were in 3 bands together at the time. And remember, I'd be late for practice and I didn't feel good about that, but I was spread too thin. And so it reminds me to make sure I prioritize balance. So, being in the studio till 4 a.m., there would be nights, I'm sure in my life now, where that inspiration and action and fire is present and relevant. And that's what I want to do. But as far as doing that every single day and sacrificing a lot of relationships and things like that, I'm not at that point anymore. Balance is too important for me.
I agree. That's interesting. And it is like with social media and stuff, you see these people and their stories, but they could be at totally different points in their life. They could be a single person that's, just moved away from their town, so they don't know anybody else. So they're just kind of spending that year or whatever, just kind of like, I'm focused on my craft this year. And then someone like me who's at this age, I'm like, man, maybe I'm like not doing enough. Maybe I need to do more or, cut out friendships or whatever. And then you just realize you're like, no, I mean, but then I'd be successful, but not happy. But then would I be great? And it's like all those kind of like weird things in your head of like, what do I really want? And I 100% agree with you. I'm at the point in my life where I love growing in all areas of my life, but I don't have the pressure or the need for anything. It's more just the excitement of the journey and the growth and the process for me. And that took me a long time to get to. It was always a lack. Like a lack of, I'm not at that point yet that I really dreamed of being at. And then that kind of held me back for a while. But then once I flipped it and was like, wait a second, I love where my life's at right now. And I love what I get to do every day. And I love to see where it's going to go. And then it's really back into the present moment of, this is my dream. It's not J. Cole. Like, I'm not trying to be Kendrick Lamar.
Yes.
This is my dream now. And you kind of own it. And that's like more joyfulness. It's you talk about happiness, like what's the key to happiness? But it's like, I'm more so trying to find that just like inner joy and have that like contentment and inner joy and then be able to live a free life that way.
Yeah, 100%. Having your own journey to joy is important.
Dude, the journey to joy, dude. I like that. I feel like we gotta freaking end it here, dude. The journey to joy, dude.
Yeah, for real. Maybe that's the name of the episode.
There we go. The journey to joy, or is Drake really that good? ? Let us know in the comments. That's the title. It's like this longest.
And we somehow blow up the 3rd episode because we just talk trash about the most famous rapper right now.
Yeah, dude, this is all part of the plan.
Clickbait! Dude. Clickbait! Drake sucks! Yell at us in the comments.
Engage with us.
Drake's never put out a good song. Drake's had 2 top 10 hits. No one knows the city that he's from. That's all right. Because I feel like he always talks about his city.
Yeah, dude, he's talking about
knows that the city that I'm from is up northern Canada. Hey, hi, hum, yeah.
Is that a song?
Something like that.
Gotcha. Well, maybe that's the one we got to listen to convert us to putting him in the top spot above Kendrick. But I don't know, dude. All I'm saying is if Kendrick drops an album this year, I'm here for it. It'll be interesting, though, because what he's been doing with Keem lately is very, different. And his cousin Keem, it's very interesting. So
he's always different. And
he's
the
always
last thing I will...
No, I was going to say, did you see his Chanel? Like him and Dave Free, like PG Lang, what they've been doing, and he wrote like the song for that, so it's kind of like technically the newest. Besides Like That, it's technically the newest Kendrick song. But they did a whole video for it. You should check it out. It's called The Button.
The last thing I will say about Kendrick is he put out easily, I would have to put this album in the top 3 hip hop albums of all time and like top 10 best albums of all time. Good Kid, Mad City, from front to back, that is a story. Dude, and you're with so them good. On that, like on the shit that they do. It's again heavy, but like, whoa, what a movie of an album. You're with him along that whole day in the life.
Dude, okay, now I got to add something to that because I 100% agree, and I actually have that vinyl. I'm starting a vinyl collection, even though I don't have a record player. I'm just someday I'll get it. But that is one of them. And I always thought something that's helped my life grow and my mind grow in my depth of understanding has been through albums like that. Because us being these white dudes growing up in Northern Virginia, you know, we have a certain type of experience, and it's nothing like that. Nothing that's going on in Compton. So to be able to listen to an album like that and feel like you're a part of that, it helps open your mind to different people's struggles and different people's experiences, and that just changes so much stuff because your empathy just goes up. And it's like I almost just want to like shake some people, and they're like, why do you like, you know, you think of a lot of like baby boomers in the past, like, why are you listening to rap? You can't spell crap without rap. And it's like, when I was younger, just listening to these songs, I was like, this is so fascinating. I had no idea this even happened, but now I know. And then you meet someone at school and your life experience goes up so much just through listening to these albums. And I think that's the coolest shit, dude.
I agree. It enhances your perspective. And Tupac was another rapper that was like that, really painting what it was like to be in their culture, you know, growing up. And I mean, losing friends as a teenager due to like gang violence or overdoses and things like that. It's heavy shit, but that's real stuff that people deal with.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't want to sound too privileged or whatever, but I am grateful for the ability to hear others' stories. And like you said, it does make me want to wake other people up and be like, how do you not understand? You don't have to like the music, but how do you not have empathy? How do you not be like, holy shit, you've been through some hell and you're still standing here strong and tough and confident? Like,
yeah, I can respect
that's incredible.
Yeah, man, try to understand different paths of life. It's so important, dude. I love that. Yeah. Hell yeah, dude. Well, great episode, man. Episode 3, these are getting more and more fun, dude.
They're getting fun, and they're also getting deeper. They're getting to, this was a little bit more of a serious conversation, I would say.
Yeah.
But that's how we are. One day we can be laughing our asses off about everything, and then the next day we can have a more focused, in-depth conversation about something that is maybe a little bit heavier in terms of content matter.
Yeah. It's a very free-flowing conversation when the cameras are off as well. So it's like, it's cool to kind of put the cameras on and see if anyone else wants to join the conversation. So
that's that rampage effect, baby. Knock down them walls.
Knock down that wall, baby. Rampage. We need to add more sound effects too, dude. We got 2 sound effects.
Maybe you should add the Godzilla one for the rampage sound next time.
Dude, we'll add it in post. So
okay. What? Sick.
All right, dude. Well, episode 3, let's go.
Yo.
Peace, guys.
Peace.